I'm proud of you. How often do you hear those words? How often do you hear those words spoken by your very own voice, whether it's out loud or in your head? Chances are, if you're like me and many other people that I know and I work with, we don't hear this as often as we'd like because it might not be coming from other people. And oftentimes it's not coming from ourselves, unless we do the work we're going to talk about today, because oftentimes what we're hearing is the exact opposite. So that's what we're going to be talking about in this week's episode of the Purposeful Powerhouse podcast is rewriting the dialogue, changing the tone, if you will, learning to think intentionally, which is one of the pillars of being a purposeful powerhouse, is using your mind like a powerful tool. Because you probably know by now that your mind is hardwired for self-protection and it works based on fear and stress. And when you're doing the big things that you do in the world as the heart-led entrepreneur that you are, it can very easily default back to its usual mechanisms of self-doubt, procrastination, avoidance, all of those things that tend to happen when we're stretching ourselves. And so it's really important for us to learn that you are the creator of your thoughts and you can begin to think on purpose to really intentionally start your day from that place of deep connection to the truth of who you are. Because otherwise, if we just default to grabbing your phone, scrolling away, barely hanging on by a thread, because everything that you see when you're scrolling on your phone is activating, triggering, maybe causing you to feel more stressed, maybe causing you to feel resentful, or all of those things that can really easily happen when we consume social media first thing in the day without taking care of ourselves first. It can cause us to go quickly into that spiral of anxiety or of overwhelm or, all of those not ideal places to show up from. So what I want to share with you is really a powerful tool that we use inside the Rise and Vibe movement. And that is a deep dive into the vibe of your vision and into the version of you that is already living that reality and finding out what beliefs that they have. She, her, them, what beliefs do they have about your capacity, about what you're doing, about how you're showing up, about your goals that you have for yourself? Because as you know, the mind will want to default back to exactly where we are and use the techniques of guilt and shame and self-doubt that will then trigger more of the control, more of that resistance, more of the keeping you exactly where you are and shutting down any sort of action. So when you learn how to amplify your morning routine using this tool of really intentionally getting clear on what beliefs you want to cultivate for yourself, the level of identity that you have as someone who has created the reality that you see in your mind's eye, that you have in your vision board, then intentionally connecting to that and doing the work around that on a regular basis. And it's great for us to go to workshops and get this inspiration of like, oh, this is my higher self and this is who I am. But really, the magic comes from when you intentionally anchor into that regularly and ideally daily, because it takes repetition to create these new pathways for yourself in your brain. And so having this element of your morning routine where you are intentionally choosing your thoughts. And this is something that you may think of, oh, well, I say affirmations. Okay, but are they your affirmations? Are they deeper than I am worthy, I am whole, I am here? Are they really personal is the key. And are they really aligned with the version of you that you see in those visualizations that you do, that you see as your higher self, your future self? Because we want to customize them so that they are true to you and they are true to your vision. Because if you're just kind of arbitrarily reading off or stating off some encouraging positive thoughts, it may not be taking you to the place within yourself where you're in that, yes, this is who I am. This is how I want to show up. This is how I want to feel. And this is what I'm intentionally anchoring into each day. Because otherwise, it's really easy for us to default back to our old patterns of being self-critical and wanting to just focus on what's not happening, right? Being in the gap, being in the shortcomings, being in the problem, being in the mistakes, being in the being in the, oh, I wish it was like this. And that, is really common. And that's where we default back to the, oh, I'm not doing enough. I should do better, this, that, and the other thing. And so that takes us back to that place of how can you speak the words to yourself that are what you truly need to hear and what you truly want to hear. And that's where it takes us back to that version of you that lives in your vision. She celebrates herself. She acknowledges she, he, they, whatever pronoun you relate to. They, more than likely, I don't know for you, but for most people that I work with, there is a deep level of appreciation and acknowledgement that we're all seeking, because that's a need within us to be seen and to be validated. And so regardless of what's happening in your external world, there's always an opportunity for us to slow down and be loving and be nurturing with ourselves, and really use that intentional pillar of doing this anchoring, stating these statements to yourself. And they can be mentally out loud. I know that the universe supports me in everything that I do. I know that things are working out for me, even when it may not seem like it. And things that are really true to you and personal to you and to your vision. And that you get to uncover by diving into that. And we do that deeply in the Rise and Vibe movement. And you'll get a sense for that. We're going to do an exercise inside the Sanity Saver series that will get you started, because I think it's really important that you have this, because when you can intentionally know the vibe of your vision and intentionally use that as your anchor and your decision for how you want to feel and how you want to show up, then you have that as your starting point each day. And then you can use that in your morning routine, right? And that's really an amplification of your morning routine. Is it's more than just, doing these arbitrary 5 things that you read in the Miracle Morning or that you see somebody else is doing. It's the way that you're doing what you do so that it feels good to you, and so that it is an opportunity to cultivate this connection. It's an opportunity to drop into this as your set point each day, because otherwise we default back into the way we tend to do things and the way we tend to show up. And when we do that, we get the same results, right? Because your results are determined by your actions that you're taking, which are determined by the thoughts that you're thinking, which are determined by the emotional state that you're in, which is determined by your nervous system, right? So to go the other way, your nervous system impacts how you feel, how you feel impacts your thoughts impact your actions impact your results. So it's a circle, right? And so it's really important that we know the starting point of that circle of life, if you will. I'm holding back because I want to sing the Lion King song right now. So the starting point for that is the state of your nervous system. And when you are in a state of regulation, then you're in your most powerful place. And that place of connected awareness, so that you can co-create from that place. And that place is a place of nurturing. It's a place of slowing down. It's a place of tending. It's a place of acknowledgement. It's a place of giving yourself what you need, rather than waiting for the external world to give it to you, because you care so much about how you feel that you're willing to slow down and show up for yourself first. That's what it's about ultimately, is learning to give yourself what you need in each and every moment, so that we can let go of the other stuff that is not who you truly are. And it's a process, right? This isn't like, oh, I'm just gonna, do it once and then I'm good forever. No. As we do this journey of healing and this journey of identity, evolution, and expansion within ourselves, there's going to be opportunities where stuff comes up for us and where we get to use the tools, right? And the practice of yoga is, yes, incredible for the benefits you get when you're actually in the practice, but it's an evolution of who you are and how you see life and how you cultivate this level of self-awareness and this level of self-acceptance, and using the tools to cultivate self-love. And so how we anchor into this daily is, once you've done that introspective work of the beliefs that you want to cultivate within yourself, the identities that you want to truly anchor into and assume, the way that you think, the way that you speak, then how can you intentionally take time every day to play with that? Right? And that can be done through visualization. It can be done through repeating of these statements to yourself, or meditation, or tapping. It's really up to you, right? And so that's where you get to decide. And creating a morning routine that is uniquely you is what we do inside the Rise and Vibe movement, because it's not a one stop shop or a one size fits all, right? It really, it's dependent on how you're feeling each day, and depending on where you're at, what cycle, excuse me, what phase of your cycle you're in, and also in your business, what are you up to? And so it's really about recognizing what you need in each given moment and learning to give yourself that. And that's the practice, really. That's the practice. And that's the practice of deep, deep, deep self-care. And that willingness to do that first in the morning, and then to do that throughout the day, because it's literally dripping it in throughout the day so that you have a constant source of that. Because when we are level throughout the day, say you're giving yourself what you need, and you're tending to yourself, and you're feeling great, and you're kind of at a nice even keel, then if things happen, we can respond more intentionally and not get triggered, right? Whereas if we're running really high and we're super stressed out, and you're just running on oat milk lattes and a couple of almonds that you found in the bottom of your purse because you haven't gone to the grocery store in a while, and you're hungry and you're cranky, and you're on the edge of a freak out, that vibe, it's not conducive to the level of mind and the level of being that is your true self. And that's where, having your amplified morning routine, so you're rising and vibing, taking little moments, little power pauses throughout the day, setting yourself up to have a flow to your day, that you aren't getting to the point where you're literally walking the thin line between a blow up and a meltdown. If somebody says the right thing or the wrong thing, and you just fly off the handle. And then letting all of that come to a nice pause and to close at the end of the day with an evening experience that lets you unwind and lets you, slow the plane down and prepare for landing, if you will, so you can come smoothly into the gate and not have that like bang, 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 bouncing landing and coming screeching to a halt. It all is conducive to you truly and deeply thriving, and it all lends to that state of deep, deep connection to a state of your true power, which is a state of regulation in your nervous system because of everything we just spoke to. So helping you to really evolve at the deepest level, but at the level of safety, you're creating safety in your system by what you're doing for yourself and letting it be an inside job, right? And that's really the practice, is it's an inside job. And so that's really what we're going to be exploring in the Sanity Saver series that's kicking off on September 16th. Would love to have you join us, totally free. Each day you'll get a brand new 15-minute session that you can do anytime that works for you in your time zone. That will be your go-to practice to do everything that we just mentioned, that weaves together yoga and toning exercises, breath work, intentions, fully embodying those intentions and learning how to do that for yourself, and to create a morning routine that is uniquely you, so that you can pour into yourself first. You're going to learn the 3 pillars of amplifying your morning routine. You'll learn how to make this part of your routine and ritual, so that you can stop wasting time and money and energy and joy on things that don't work, or trying to figure it all out and having it take like 3 hours and then not doing it and getting frustrated with yourself because you really want to do it, but you can't seem to stick with it. All of that will come to an end. So Sanity Saver series kicking off super soon. Would love to have you join us. The link to join us for free as my guest is in the show notes. And if you know anybody that really would resonate with this message, please share this podcast with them. Help us spread the word, because it's a movement, right? I'm leading a movement, and you're part of it, is helping heart-led entrepreneurs just like you to be able to show up for yourself first, because you care so much about how you feel, because you know that that's the driving force in your life and your business, your energy. And making that a priority in a way that really aligns with your core values and the mission of your business helps you to not only be sustainably successful, but more importantly, to actually enjoy your life and everything that you've created, because it's not a someday, one day, once I get there. No, it's about enjoying it here and now and celebrating the gains that you've already achieved and really leaning into that from a place of deep, deep, deep acknowledgement of who you are and how you show up, because that's really what this is all about. So, thank you so much for using these tools to use your mind like a powerful tool and move your body on purpose to keep it strong and healthy so that you can show up as the purposeful powerhouse CEO that you are, because that really means recognizing how powerful you are and that you get to choose how you spend your time and energy each day. So, until next time, take good care. Thank you so much for being here. Bye bye.